Uh, Back to streaming today. Took a couple days off, just, for my own relaxation. I messed around a little bit with the OBS layout. Probably going to have to change it a little bit more. I don't know, trying to figure out like what makes for good layouts, good branding that's consistent with like Twitch branding and, all that fun stuff. So quick refresher of where we're at for the game. I had just finished getting gunpowder. Actually, you know what? Let's make sure I loaded in the right game. I did have this up the other day just to kind of like test audio. Made some changes on the mic. I hope it sounds a lot better. We'll see. I'll have to go back and listen to this one later on. Oh man, I'm like itchy all over now. So audio should be more consistent. I'm hoping game audio is going through. We'll just kind of, play it by ear, stream by stream, and see if I like the changes I've made, changes I haven't, all that stuff. Let's test the... Okay, cool. I also got the chat box to actually be appearing in here, so that's always good. It'd be nice to actually be able to see that chat is there. So for a quick refresher of where we were at from the previous game, if you didn't watch the end of it or whatever, I had wiped out Scythia and I had wiped out the Greeks down here, and I now have this continent entirely to myself. We just popped off circumnavigation right here and can kind of just, cross wherever, whenever. The current goals are to fill out this landmass and start working on finding a spot to get a foothold on the other continent. It's really important to do that as crossing continents tends to be pretty slow, and it helps a lot if you actually have a foothold, because then you can kind of direct all the enemy's attacks at a specific location, and it just sort of lets you ignore your other continent and let it run on autopilot, so you can focus on what you actually want to focus on. So given that, I'm probably going to try and find the rest of the coastline for this other nation, or for this other continent, and then find a spot to put a city down. Surprisingly, there are still things out here like tribal villages, so I don't really understand what these other guys are doing. Out of the ones we've met, they seem pretty backwards science-wise, or Amantior is actually really far ahead on science, but really behind on basically everything else. And even that, their science is not really catching them up much. There are cities here, 50 strength, 44 strength. They're about on par with mine. So they probably don't have much better than equal unit quality, and they're going to fall behind there as I've started stealing city-states, like Geneva on the last game. This was one of the last things we did. I dropped some envoys on there, so I got the bonus. So I now get 15% more science. I do that to a few more things, and they're just not going to be able to keep up anymore. As far as culture and science goals go right now, I have 2 bonuses for mass production and 2 bonuses for siege tactics. So those are the ones I would really like to get. Siege tactics requires 2 trebuchets, and then mass production requires a lumber mill. I did just get the lumber mill not too long ago, so all I need to do is basically just get a worker and burn a worker charge, and that one will be done. This other one needs 2 trebuchets, and we got 1 trebuchet earlier. I do still need the second trebuchet, and I think that the way I'm going to go about getting it is to just drop some gold on buying one, which we should be able to do in about 4 to 5 more turns. And then the builder is, of course, being made right here. And when that's done, we're just going to go right up here and make a lumber mill. Or maybe right here might be a little bit better. One of the two. So with that little recap, let's go ahead and go through whichever, sorry, Discord distracts me. let's go ahead and go through a few turns. This is going to be a shorter stream. I'm probably going to be looking to stop around 5:30-ish Eastern today. So I'm hoping we can get through this next era. If not, oh well. But we're going to try. So I might play a little bit faster, try and balance out commentary versus play speed. But I do still want to be talking quite a bit during these streams. So, yeah. Basically what I'm doing with this Admiral here, since I don't really have a Navy, is I am using him to scout out all the coast. I could make some ships that would also help with a couple of the like inspirations and stuff, but I don't really want to devote the production to it. So this guy's good enough, and worst case scenario, he can't die. He'll just get kicked to the nearest city. And since we are putting this one down very soon, it means that even if he gets kicked somewhere, we can just jump right back to this eastern coast to explore. My walls that I've been putting up have been really putting in some work. You can see here I'm going to be getting a kill on this guy. There's a barbarian camp down here. We no longer get era score out of those, but we can still get XP if the units need it. That would be a really good thing to level up some recon units, since Victor is giving free promotions. However, that would be 7 turns or 720, and neither of those is worth not having the trebuchet or not building a wonder. Yeah, I'm gonna go through here. Gonna have another ranged attack. We will, I'm sorry, we have a great person. We'll get him in a moment. What I want to take this guy for down to, though, is, let's see. I really don't like right here where the map divider is. Some of the other Civ games did it so much better where the mini-map would rotate on you. And especially when you're playing in the borderless window like I am, my mouse cursor just goes off the left-hand side of the screen, so scrolling is always kind of a pain. What I'd really like to use that guy to find, though, is some islands. There could be city-states on them, there could be any sorts of random stuff. And it doesn't really look like we're going to find much out here in the way of islands. There could be like a small one out here, or maybe a Bermuda Triangle, or maybe down here. However, since this is the largest patch of fog, I'm going to explore that and kind of hope that my settlers over here at that point, so I can bring my Admiral over there and then just have him jump over to like this city or something afterwards to start more exploring. Oh, we have another city strike. Okay, and now we have our great person. It looks like we are getting another admiral, and that's not a bad thing. This is actually a pretty fantastic admiral. We're going to get the free trader as well as the 1 trade route capacity. So this is just a whole bunch of gold per turn. The bonus here of adding +2 gold to both cities is really strong. There are a couple of natural wonders that also boost those things if the city gets them. However, we haven't found any of those natural wonders yet, and I don't really know that we will. So we're not really going to build for that. Instead, what we're going to do is just try and set up one city to be like the trade center. And I think that a city that would be good for that is probably Quinza, given that they are coastal, so we can send trade routes over coast, especially with the era bonuses. They're pretty central to my continent, and they're also in range of every city-state on my end. So we should be able to get pretty good amount of gold if all of the trade routes come from that city. We also got, so Zhang He here, we're just going to turn him into trade route. It is important that we retire him in this city, though. Actually, on this harbor, specifically.
There are very honest people.
Oh, give me one moment here. I just realized that I did not actually title my stream here correctly today. So let me change that real quick. Still sort of, getting used to doing all of this. Stream title is set. Make sure. All right, audio, sound, all that's still good. So let's just continue. Sorry, I am still trying to learn how to be a good streamer. I might get there one day. I might not. You never know. Okay, so if we take humanism here, I have to earn a great artist, which I don't think I'm going to be doing anytime soon, since it really wants like the buildings from humanism to get it easily. However, this policy right here, invention, is absolutely insane for pumping out engineers, and engineers are great, so we're probably going to want that. The other thing that I might really want to do is go towards trying to get the merchant version of that, because merchants are also going to be pretty core to our strategy, but engineers are the better one since we do get the one extra charge out of them. So we're going to go humanism, and just kind of see what happens from there. I might have to turn it off at the boost point. I don't really know yet. We've got some new government policies. I don't know if there's anything else I want to add in right now. Autocratic legacy. I could make this a little bit stronger still. I just need more diplomatic and government plaza buildings. But really, the yield isn't that high no matter what we do. Merchant Confederation is absolutely insane, but Whistlebunken is even more insane given the number of city-states that we have. So really, with our government slots right now, what we'd be looking to replace is either an economic policy or a military policy. Naval infrastructure is a bit weaker now because we no longer have policies that give us science or any of that based on gold. However, looking here, nothing else is really better than the infrastructure, so we're probably just going to leave it in. And then military unit maintenance reduced is okay. This one's okay. These are both like, economic policies essentially, which is always nice to have in your military. If I had more industrial zones, I could put this in. Or if we had more defensive buildings, I could do this. But I don't really want to upgrade from ancient to medieval walls. I just don't really feel there's a point to do it. So we also scored another governor title, and what we want to do is we want to promote Pingala. 100% great people points is nice, but we don't really have enough districts to leverage it yet, and this one is just completely passive to do researcher. So that's what I'm going to take. And Pingala is sitting right here, which I guess it's not my largest city. I could move him to Quencia. We get a little bit more a little bit more out of him. I don't want to put him in my capital, even though that's the largest, because my capital is making units since it's the only one with an encampment. Pokrova is also in position to be fairly large. It's going to outgrow Quencia. But it's got Liang, and Liang's doing pretty good there. So I think that moving Pingola to Quencia could be good. And the culture output was nice to speed up tile acquisition here, though. So I think that Aqueduct's going up. Yeah, I think we are going to be moving Pingola. All right, so this guy's here. We're going to generate those trade routes. And what I really want is, I just want money. Unless there's a city-state that wants a trade route, we're just focusing on whatever the highest gold is. And in this case, it's Muscat with +7. Because of that free +2, this city is essentially guaranteed to always be the highest gold city now. The only other consideration to gold would be if there's a road that we want. And like having a road that goes from Quencia up to this city would be kind of nice. But what we're probably gonna have to do there is like target those only as needed. This could be a nice road to add in. 4.4. Versus 7. I think we're just going to go for the 7. We are going to be able to do military engineers and make roads with them later on. So as long as the roads are semi like serviceable, it should be fine. Also, we can always, you know, kind of sail from like here to here as a shortcut rather than having to take the road at this point. Have more trade route capacity as well, and our campus is being finished. There would be an argument to making another trader here, but I'd rather do it in another city. So what we'll probably do instead is focus on like maybe the granary and then the bank in the city once the campus is done. Got our diplomatic quarter here. So we're going to do the consulate. Just kind of want to get these buildings in. Housing here is good, so yeah. We are at 1,012 gold. We could try and time a policy switch to get the extra merchant or the extra envoy here for our first one, but to be perfectly honest, I just don't want to. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to just build this trebuchet, and we finished up siege tactics. And then I need 4 on this, so we're going to take them up to 4. Mexico City is a really nice one to have. You can see on the description right here that regional effects on industrial zones, water parks, and entertainment complexes reach out 3 tiles further. What that means for water park and entertainment is the amenities go from 6 tiles and 9 tiles to 9 tiles and 12 tiles, which really just improves their reach. Industrial zones are a little different. They get a 3-tile bonus to, I believe it's production. I don't entirely remember. But taking those from 0 to 3 is a pretty big deal. There's also a great engineer later on that can add 3 as well. And you can actually get multiple charges out of him from the wonder that we have. So potentially you can take that up to a radius of 12. And that really comes into play if you are doing a space win, as industrial zones can get a bonus on that when combined with the governor. I'm going to pull him up here so you can see on Magnus right here. He can do his vertical integration and industrialist, which gives, a bonus out to our radius. Okay, so it looks like we have discovered a natural wonder, the Dead Sea. I don't know if I've ever seen that one in a game. However, we did meet these guys, and at this point I've got no issues with doing the delegations because I don't really care if they seem out. Let's find out where this Dead Sea was. Oh, right there. Okay. Oh, so it was by becoming the suzerain of Mexico City, we got their map, and that is what gave us visibility over Korea and the Dead Sea. All right. They don't look to be all that powerful. They do have science. They're also beating us in science, but it looks like we are beating them in everything else that matters. A little behind in military strength, but not by very much. And certainly not by an amount that we can't deal with. So this trebuchet, I'm actually going to send it up here. We're just going to use it as a city garrison because it's not doing anything else. And it'd be kind of nice to have another ranged attack if needed. But this guy we're going to be sending south. Pella here is pumping out more settlers. That's basically all we need it to do since it gets a bonus production on them. And it also has Magnus, so it's not losing population to do so. Finish up that granary there. We have their commercial hub. And I want to lock in the aqueduct just so that if anything happens, it doesn't get more expensive. This does mean we need to commit right now to a region for the industrial zone. We can potentially put a dam on this tile or this tile. And this city can have an aqueduct on one of these. So I think that what we want to do is put the aqueduct right here. That opens up possibilities for a dam here or here, just in case. So we're just going to break ground on that to lock in the price so it doesn't get more expensive. And ideally we can get a dam on this tile. If we had 280, I would actually just break ground on it right now. I think that next turn I'm going to do that. So we're going to break ground on an aqueduct right here, and then on a dam right here. And this way we can do an industrial zone here and here. And both of those should be pretty good as far as production. if we had more districts, I would actually lock those in. Caracas will actually be able to break ground on an industrial zone next turn, so I will be doing that. But for now, I want to, I think, set up the market. We have 7 out of 9 traders now. I am going to buy the next 2 traders as I have money for them, just because I want to get them out early, and they're going to take too many turns to build. Okay, so this city is now in place. We're going to put it down. Another 3 era score there. We need 20 more points. We also got a bonus for being next to that, which is pretty nice. And we're going to be putting down our first holy site, which is right here. We're going to get some era score out of that. And this holy site is basically existing just so that we have enough faith income to maybe buy another 1 or 2 of these guys eventually. So we're going to just build that. I'm not going to bother with these buildings right now. We might do one of them later on. We will be chopping these out for wonders. I think that when I do that, I am going to rebase Magnus to get the extra hammers out of chops, which means we'll lose our governors for a little bit, but that's okay. I need 2 builders in place before I can do that. We have our first builder right here, so we're going to use that initial charge on the lumber mill. We got another free builder, which is pretty good. And although I did just say that we want to use it down here, it's also important to make sure that this city is self-sustaining. So I also kind of need to make sure that it has some food. So we're going to use a little bit of gold here to hook up some fish. And then buy the trade. Okay, the campus is in. We can make the library. As you see, it does produce 4 science, and then the university is 6. Those are really fantastic returns. However, I don't really think that... Well, they are also scientist points. And most importantly, they're quick. 9 turns for a library is fairly good turnaround time. But I think we're going to go with the bank. Let's build the lumber mill. And that got us a couple more envoys. The only one we're missing now is Muscat, which still wants a great general. I think they've wanted that all game. And we've not gotten anywhere close. We are currently 16 turns away, so we're on a lock for the next general. We're just going to let that happen. Darwin is a pretty awful scientist unless you want the